This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Dagmar Bryant. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
It's absolutely fabulous. We're talking to you from sunny Boston, and it's a bit snowy outside, and I'm feeling good.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, you said we are talking to you. What made you say we? Who else is there?
Oh, only my husband, but he's in the background.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
He can't hear your side of the conversation.
All right. What's his name?
His name is Glenn.
Hi, Glenn, when you listen to this, right? Well, Dagmar, please do tell us, so which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Well, I believe it was LinkedIn that connected us, and also Innovation Women. And I'm a motivational speaker and a transformational coach. So I try and help people by making a difference to them.
Now, there's so much things going on with your accent. I'm hearing a bit of an Aussie, all right? I'm hearing the American, and well, I'm not. And before we spoke, you said, your German background, your history is there. So I'm not hearing the German so much, but definitely the Aussie. Am I accurate?
You are very accurate. I was born in Australia and I was born in Germany and we moved to Australia when I was 6 years old. So hence you don't have much of a German accent. So I spent the better part of my life in Australia. Right. And about 12 months ago, my husband and I moved to the USA. I didn't realize I had picked up any of that accent though.
You did. There's just a bit. That's great. So tell us about the motivational side of what you do, please.
Well, essentially, my background is in corporate, primarily in customer service and in law. And there was just this aha moment, maybe about 15, 20 years ago, when it wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. And I chose to follow a more spiritual calling to help others. And I believe that we all have a choice in how we live our life, whether we choose to be the cup half full or the cup half empty. And for me, it was really helping people, moving them forward out of what I call their stuck. And to me, that's a calling in its own way because you're helping others.
Definitely. I just spoke to two individuals, and one person was on here, and then her husband, coincidentally, just like your husband, was in the room as well. And then I spoke to her husband afterwards, and he speaks slower. And I told him it's really cool how he speaks because he speaks as though he ensures he's giving you a full cup. Yeah, so he thinks first and then he speaks. And I think it's so important to identify these small things, right? And he said to me, that's great because I was always ashamed of the way I would stop to think before I speak. And that one nugget, I believe, changes his interaction. Have you seen that occur with you when you're helping others as well?
I think I do. I try and stop and have a bit of a think about what needs to be said. And I do that with my speaking as well because my keynote is empowerment begins with you. And often I need to reformat or change what I'm going to say depending on what my audience is. And, a lot of that has to be a little bit inspirational. But I also have to incorporate my stories. So then I'm thinking on the go, what are my stories that is going to be relevant to the audience that I'm speaking to?
Oh, I love the way your tones are sounding. Where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you?
I would say probably email or Instagram. So my email is info@DagmarBryant.com, right. Or my Instagram is Dagmar_Bryant, and I have a lot of motivational material on there.
Wonderful. Well, do tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Over the last 3 years, probably it's been a big time of transition with the move. So it's been this huge period of growth. So I've had to consistently be on my game, focusing on growth and expansion. And that's involved a lot of hard work. And I've also had to be really mindful of my health to try and keep that balance of what makes me feel good rather than just work, constantly, and then struggling, because it's just such an important thing to be mindful of. If I'm not healthy, then I can't help others.
Yeah, definitely. How does it make you feel to see that you're at least keeping up with that?
Actually, really good, and it really inspires me when you can see the journey that someone else goes through. And also being mindful of my own health. I've recently tried to be more gluten-free, and you can see the changes in your body. And I try and inspire other people with that as well, just being mindful of whether it's their wellness, whether it's doing meditation, all sorts of stuff in that kind of field as well.
Love it. All right. Well, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Tell me, what is your earliest childhood memory, Dagmar?
I can clearly remember what it was like for me moving from Germany to Australia. I have some memories from when I was younger than that, but this is when I was 6 years old. And I'd never been anywhere really exciting before, but this was a huge adventure. And back then, flights didn't have the long-range fuel capacity, so they had to make lots of stops along the way. And one of the stops that I remember so distinctly was stopping in Karachi, which is in Pakistan, and that was a fuel stop, but we all had to get off the aircraft. And there was this intense blast of warm, humid air that just hit my face as I stepped off this aircraft. And it was unlike anything that I'd ever experienced before. And that has to be my strongest memory of that particular trip.
Why do you think it's so clear?
Just so different. I'd never experienced that kind of heat. Germany didn't have that kind of heat, and that was just such a new experience for me.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Well, you might laugh, but I love airports and I love traveling. There's something about new experiences that is inspiring to me. It's a new adventure. It's like going on a plane is exciting for me, and that's been with me ever since we came over to Australia.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Please.
I love the fact that in our conversation you were expressing how necessary it is for you to keep mindful, if you would, along your journey. And it's been quite of a journey, but you said that it's important for you to, keep yourself balanced, right? Ensure that you're in the best health. And I equate that to what happened on that trip, where it could have been accomplished in one big haul in this timing, right? But given that it was at that time, it was so necessary to break it up into smaller pieces. And by breaking it up into smaller pieces, you got the opportunity to experience new things, just like that heat, right? And now doing that as well in your life gives you that opportunity to experience things while you're going through this big journey of what life is.
Very true. Absolutely. Yeah. I would agree with that, Angel.
If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Now this one, it has to be Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell.
Love it.
I had a girlfriend who introduced me to this album, and it was so amazing. It was like so different to anything like that I had played before or that I was used to, and it had this fantastic sound and this upbeat to it.
I love it. All right, Dagmar. Well, we've arrived at our destination now, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Dagmar, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I have, but that's probably not one person. It's many, because I teach what I practice, and so that's essentially my students and clients, and to some degree my kids.
Are you married? Well, yes, you said you're married.
Yes,
right?
yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 grown-up daughters.
All right. Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do. Fairly close-knit and small.
All right. Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Most of the time, no. I usually don't have time for that. But, every now and then there's a little bit of a binge of a TV series when it's a bit of a miserable day.
Yeah. What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Most of the time it's going to have to be more because I run my business from home. I'm constantly on, whether it's Skype or WhatsApp or Zoom. I'm with my clients answering emails. So it's a lot of time on there.
All right, Dagmar, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Dagmar Bryant, what would you say that is?
I would say life is not about sitting on the sidelines. To achieve success, you need to take calculated risks.
Love it. Love your S's. I love how they whistle. Dagmar, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Well, I would just say if you want to get in touch with me, if you're feeling a little bit stuck, do reach out via Instagram or email. I'm also on LinkedIn. So it would be great to connect with you. I offer a 20-minute complimentary session just to see if we're connected. It's what I call a discovery session, if it's something you can work with me and I can work with you. So I'd love to hear from you.
Love it. Dagmar Bryant, again, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much, Angel.
You're welcome.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazon Enterprise.